What domestic airline flies almost entirely over water?
How long does it take to make a potato chip?
Industry on parade. A brand new look at our America, produced on film each week by the National Association of Manufacturers.
With the dieselizing of American railroads, the railroad fireman, as we used to think of him, shovel in hand, is pretty much passing out of the picture. But on at least one dieselized road, the Atlantic coastline, there are a lot more firemen than there used to be. The kind who can deal with this sort of situation. The new type of fireman carries an extinguisher instead of a shovel and specializes in putting fires out rather than in keeping them burning. They don't ordinarily go chasing fires on non-railroad property, but in this case, they couldn't resist lending a helping hand. All the line's employees are given comprehensive training in firefighting techniques by veteran instructors like Bob Kuzer, who is indoctrinating a class in the use of extinguishers at the company's shops in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Bob explains that baking soda is one of the most effective extinguishing agents yet discovered. When it hits the fire, it generates a blanket of carbon dioxide gas that cuts off the oxygen necessary to maintain combustion. Now they're going to try their hands at putting out an oil fire. That's the kind that can actually be made to spread and burn more vigorously by turning a hose on it. Let's see how it reacts to bicarbonate of soda. We don't ordinarily think of railroads, made largely of steel, as having any serious problems with fire. But the protection of the traveling public and of an infinite variety of goods in transit is an immense 24-hour-a-day job. In preventing fires, cleanliness and good housekeeping are essential. Railroad shops, too, can offer many hazardous conditions unless great care is taken, as it is here. By its vigorous program, the company has cut losses from fire by many thousands of dollars a year and prevented who knows how many deaths or injuries. But in spite of all the precautions, fires still do occur. Then the problem is to get them under control, but fast. When the whistle blows, out they come. Machinists, welders, electricians, steam fitters, switchmen. They're firemen all. Looks like a volunteer fire department at work. And that's about what it is. For fires in remote areas, the road has a specially equipped fire car, complete with water supply, pumps, hose, extinguishers, everything you'd find on a big city fire truck. Know-how is another key factor in firefighting, and that too is applied promptly to make sure the railroad's passengers and freight will continue to reach their destination safely and on time.
Americans are living in an age of spiritual, cultural, and material advancement. But our present achievements do not compare with what we can still accomplish in our own lifetimes by 1975, in the years ahead. Industry believes that we Americans stand at the gate of a new era of progress, an age of scientific and technological revolution. We can create more products, better products for all 160 million of us, for our children, and for the nearly 220 million of us who will occupy this country in 1975.
An ultra-modern pen factory in Janesville, Wisconsin. Of a weekend, the array of complex, expensive machinery lies silent, idle, unproductive. But is the Parker Pen Company completely shut down? No. For a company is made up of people, and the human mind never really shuts down. Take Laverne Hansen. 5 days a week, he polishes nibs for fountain pens, one at a time. Here we find him in his basement workshop, wrestling with the question, why not polish the nibs 10 or 12 at a time in a simple holder? and Laverne comes up with just such a holder. Monday morning, back at the plant, Laverne doesn't write out his idea and drop it in the suggestion box. The company has a walking suggestion box in Charlie Carpenter, a human blotter when it comes to absorbing schemes for improving on the efficiency of even this, the last word in factories. Charlie works full-time on nothing but the ideas of employees for doing things better and less expensively. Men and women like Fay Bartz, aware that the company is ready not only to accept but to pay well for common sense suggestions, have taken to converting minor irritations into hard cash. A spilled work tray and a couple of dozen pens that now have to be re-inspected produce an idea for metal corners that will allow the trays to nest securely together. Charlie gets all the details, which he will write up for submission to plant engineers. On the assembly line where ballpoint jotters are put together, Vivian Hull has been thinking it would be better if the line were made into a circle. Then a pen assembly could go round and round until it had all its parts. The work would go faster, there'd be less stop and go, and, well, it would also be pleasanter working that way. Vivian's drawing comes before the engineers who waste no time in getting to work on the technical complications the proposed change would create. But solving problems is their business, and it isn't long after they're convinced of the practicality of the plan that the circular assembly line is in operation, and it's everything Vivian said it would be. Thanks in part to employee suggestions, thousands of factories are becoming ever better, more productive, and consequently, more profitable places to work.
Honolulu International Airport, 3 a.m. What's being shipped out so urgently at this early hour? It's bread and rolls and newspapers too. Perishable items for consumption today all over the scattered Hawaiian Islands. The islands are a unique section of America, and Hawaiian Airlines has a unique job in tying them all together, hauling unusual cargoes like this yellowfin tuna. The planes, cargo, and passenger fan out in all directions, eastward to Molokai, southeast to Lanai, northwest to Kauai. The islanders have come to look on airplanes as we on the mainland regard buses, trucks, and trains. Until recent years, the chief communication between the islands was by ship. Transporting produce, taking business trips, visiting relatives on another island only 100 miles away might involve several days' travel. Now, Waikiki Beach, as seen from the air, is a thoroughly familiar landmark to a surprising percentage of islanders. They take for granted the fact that no matter where in the islands they start from, they can reach Hilo, easternmost terminal of the airline, in less than 4 hours. Incidentally, this is the only domestic airline that flies almost entirely over water. Here at Hilo, some of the bread, mail, newspapers, and other cargo from Honolulu are offloaded, and outgoing shipments take their place. In loading equipment, as in aircraft, the line keeps right up to date, even though it commonly carries items you wouldn't expect to find traveling at a couple of 100 miles an hour. Pigs, fish, goats, newborn calves, and the like, fortunately, do not ride in the same planes as human passengers who enjoy all the customary comforts and conveniences. These human passengers also enjoy the knowledge that the airline, in a quarter of a century of operation, flying hundreds of millions of passenger miles, had not a single fatal accident. For 25 years in a row, it has received the annual Aviation Award of the National Safety Council. In Hawaii, perhaps more than anywhere else in the world, does the airplane intimately affect every phase of life. The free movement of people, products, and ideas, which has helped make our nation strong and great, is very much in evidence in these islands, too, welding them into a true social, economic, and political entity.
Through the years, Americans have learned that machines create jobs. We know that machines have shortened hours, raised wages, and made it possible to manufacture the things we need for our standard of living at prices that people can afford to pay. Machines make life easier for everyone. They do the work and remove the strain. They call for greater specialization. That gives workers a chance to use more mind and less muscle and to develop new skills. In short, it makes them masters of the machines, operators, inspectors, and supervisors.
The potato fields of Maine, another bumper crop of the vegetable that has carried the state's name to all parts of the world. These are still too small for baking purposes, but they're just right for a very specialized use to which many of the very best potatoes are put. The making of potato chips. At the modern plant of John E. Cain Company in Cambridge, Massachusetts, the spuds have been cured for from 1 to 5 weeks before starting through a fast-moving operation that will transform them into packaged chips in just 15 minutes. Here's how they're peeled, by abrasion. Wouldn't this sight do an old-time Army KP's heart good? During the peeling, the potatoes get the first of a series of washings that eliminate much of the starch. This is especially true after they've been sliced at the rate of 1,500 slices per minute. They move right on to the cooker where a blend of vegetable oils at a temperature of 350 to 400 degrees turn them a golden brown. As they emerge from the cooker, they're sprinkled lightly with very fine salt. Then drop onto another conveyor belt for a trip past the color inspector to the packing room. A constant stream of freshly cooked chips is fed into sensitive weighing machines that drop just the right amount into moisture-proof cellophane bags. Here's a gal who doubles in brass. The bags are heat sealed to ensure a completely airtight package that will bring to connoisseurs, even weeks later and hundreds of miles away, the crisp, fresh, delicious product they have come to expect when they open a bag of potato chips.